So in this final part of this Django tutorial, we will see how we can use something called Bootstrap in order to improve the graphical user interface in our Django application. So what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a free and open source CSS framework. You use it to create modern web applications or web pages if you need good design, layout, etc. And also if you use Bootstrap, your application or web page will work fine on all kind of devices like computers, smartphones, etc. And Bootstrap is a very popular CSS framework that is used by many web developers today. And you can also use Bootstrap in combination with JavaScript to create interactivity and animations, etc. And by using a framework like a Bootstrap or similar, you can focus on developing and coding your application and the features within your application, and then let Bootstrap do most of the layout, etc. You'll find more information about Bootstrap on the homepage, which you find here. So here you see the new and final customers page that we will we have created the page, but we will update it to include using Bootstrap, and we will also put the data from the database inside an ordinary HTML table like this. So in order to start using Bootstrap in your application, I guess Bootstrap can be used in all kinds of web applications, either it's Django or other web development framework, because you can basically just include some libraries. So the first library you need to include is this Bootstrap CSS library. So basically in the head section of your HTML page, you just include this line of code. And for the Bootstrap JavaScript library, you also include this line. If you only want to use the CSS library, you only need to include this one. But if you want to also include the JavaScript features in Bootstrap, you can also include this library. And also in the same head section, you can also include this line of code that makes your application or your web page work fine on all kinds of devices, from computers to small smartphones, etc. So here you see our final updated customers.html file. So now I have included the code or the data from the database into an HTML table. So here are the different columns: the first name, last name, email, phone, and address. And here we retrieve the data from the model and from the SQLite database in this case. So we retrieve first name, last name, email, phone, and address, and then put it into a table. And then here we have included the necessary parts for the Bootstrap CSS library like this. So we need to include these 3 lines. Then we can also include this one to improve the user interface. And also for the table, you can also include this one. So that's basically what you need to change in your web page in order to start using Bootstrap. I also have updated the company.html file, which is the main page. So I also included the Bootstrap libraries here. And I also included a link to the customers page. So let's see the final results. Let's go to our web browser. So here is the startup page for our final company Django web application. So company page, welcome to our company. And here you find information about our customers. So then basically I can click on this one and open it. And then in this case I open it in a new folder in my browser. And then you see, here you see the updated customers page, where you have a list of customers that are stored in our database. So basically that's our final company Django application. Here's the startup page with some basic information about the company, and then you can click on this link, and then you will go to the sub page where we see all the customers for that specific company like this. So this was the final part of our Django tutorial, where we ended up with this company Django web application with a startup page, and then you could click on this link in order to go to this subpage where you get an overview of all the customers, and this information are stored in our SQLite database. So that's all, so thank you and goodbye.